Welcome to ADEPP Digital Training. Please watch this training course. Our experts can create similar training course based on your process safety documents and your installation's 3D models. If you need more information, please contact us. Our experts arrange a meeting for you to show how we can customize your training courses, create a training workspace with Microsoft SharePoint for coaching and measurement of competency of your personnel.
This e-course covers hazard and operability analysis. I discuss about HAZOP objective, HAZOP methodology and terms of reference, definitions of the nodes, HAZOP worksheet and categories of the recommendations, and finally HAZOP action responses follow-up. HAZOP is a study technique used to identify potential hazards and operability problems that may be inherent in process design. HAZOP is a structured hazard identification tool using a multidisciplinary team. So this allows various viewpoints to be expressed and simultaneously creating thoughts and imagination examinations of the process under review. So the team approach result is a review of the greater depths that can be achieved by any one individual. This is a typical HAZOP sub-process flow. Normally, you have your line manager, you have line HSE, and for each project, normally it should be an independent chairman outside of the project, and head of safety or lead safety engineer who will select the chairman. Chairman normally have an scribe, and then when they approve, they go based on the methodology of the company. They will perform HAZOP for the project. HAZOP will be done in different phases of the project. Normally, a very simplified HAZOP in pre-project, in feed and detail design, and in detail design normally when the P&ID reviews goes and there is a mature P&ID, then you will do HAZOP. And also when you select the vendors, then you will do the HAZOP package. Normally, methodology HAZOP uses a standard set of guidelines to prompt a study participant to identify hazard and potential operability issues and verify if sufficient safeguards are present. So the study is primarily based on P&ID examination. The emphasis during the review is set to identify potential hazards and how to eliminate them. And if a solution is obvious during this study, it is recorded while the study is in progress. So as we said, HAZOP process is a systematic application of combinations of the parameters. We will discuss about the parameters, flow, pressure, temperature, etc. And the guide words if there is no, more, less, etc. And to produce the deviation from the design intent or intended operational mode of the plant. So credible cause of the deviations are identified for each plant section. We call them node. I will discuss about it later. And the consequences are discussed and assessed and recorded with any necessary action for further consideration by project team. HAZOP process is divided normally in the following step. So first we have to select the appropriate nodes. This nodes has to be defined by the chairman, and a meeting should be run with the company and contractor to discuss to validate the nodes. When the node is defined, Then we apply the parameters, first parameters, and then use the guide words and determine all potential causes and agree the credibility of each cause. Then we have to pay attention that the consequence of each cause, normally we assume that there is no safeguard, and then assess the detection and protection safeguards, and then agree the recommendation, and then record. So let's go a little bit more detail about guide words and parameters. When we are, for example, no or not means complete negations of the planned intent. More is qualitative increase. Less is qualitative decrease. And all of this, these are the guide words that we use for more, less, reverse, part of. And these are guide words and parameters. Normally, we look at here about flow, pressure, more flow, less flow, none, reverse, as well as part of and other than. So there is normally for oil and gas, I will show you, we use these are which are black, but the one that which are red, normally it is, for example, if we have the faster reaction, a slow reaction, runaway detection, these are used for the other industry. So the deviation normally we use for oil and gas, this is no flow. For example, no flow is, for example, large leak, equipment failure. So these all can be break-in, no flow, less flow, and more flow, less pressure, more pressure, etc. Normally in a HAZOP in oil and gas, we go through this for brainstorming in the workshop. So the notes should be agreed with chairman and the contractor and the company, and the scope and boundaries for each note shall be agreed, and it shall be written in terms of reference before HAZOP. So let's, this is an example. For example, production well typical up to the choke valve. So this is one note, and this we have to write the design and operation conditions. This should be clearly defined, in that should be written in the terms of reference, and then each of these notes will go through the systematic review of the deviation, etc. Normally, we divide the categories, the recommendation on safety, operation, and nice to have. So this is a typical example of the worksheet, and there are several packages, for example, like PH Pro, and the chairman used it with the scribe. So basically here is deviation. If we have more flow, and what is the causes of this, and the consequences, as I said, the consequences if there is no safeguard, and then we look at the safeguard if there is, for example, the class of being well testing, etc., and which reference to the recommendation. And here, for example, we write the engineering, and it is a safety things. When we write the safety, normally all the things relevant to safety, that each phase of the process should be closed before going to the next phase of the project. And then we will talk about the HAZOP closeout report. So this is S, and this has to be defined close during the phase for safety of our feed. We have to close it and then go to the detailed design. The actions normally goes through an action sheet, and action sheet here, if you see, for example, action sheet number 1, and here the deviation is more flow, there is a cause, and this is what has been given in the HAZOP worksheet. But here the engineering response, for example, this is a contractor, has to say to respond to this recommendation if they implement it in the design. Then here there is company comments. Company can give a comment here, and the company can say agree with comment, disagree, or to be followed in the, for example, next phase of project is not finished and should be endorsed by company representative, and it can be several people, but it is a formal closure of the actions. And these actions normally in the safety concept at the end of the project, when it will be revised, we'll define how many actions are closed, how many are open, and to follow it in the next phase of the project. Normally, when you have hazard action sheets, there are several packages to do this. We recommend a SharePoint, which is all of these actions can be closed, and the people can work together and close it, the actions, and without wasting a lot of time for this. The communication is very important between company and the engineer.